Alright guys, welcome to Mr. Halal Money channel. It's so weird today. If you guys see me acting weird, it's because we are actually live on Instagram right here, and I'm live on the Facebook group as well for the HOB students. So the reason why today I want to go live everywhere is because it's kind of like an exclusive kind of thing, because it's the first time that I'm actually able to come to Karamy's house. So obviously you guys don't know Karamy Signateh, or even some of you guys probably know him. Karamy Signateh is, well, we basically grew up in the same city, born in the same city, grew up in the same kind of environment and whatnot. Our culture is kind of like the same. Our parents are kind of like the same. My mom is Spanish, his mom is Spanish. My father's Senegalese, his father is Gambian. We started practicing late as well. So we share a lot of similarities when it comes to our life as well. We married as well, which is something strange here for young people like us in Barcelona. We have 2 children as well. So we kind of share a lot of things. And all up until now, everything that I find benefit in it and that it kind of impacts in my life, I always go and share it with him. It's kind of like the only quote unquote friend, like actually someone that I can call friend, that I share my stuff with and benefit with, and someone that understands me basically when I speak. Because I have friends, I have other friends, but they don't really get me when I'm trying to explain them about whatever's going on in my life, just because they don't have the same experience that he has. For example, I cannot go and talk about marriage with someone who is still playing around with women, for example,
or men.
or men. So Karamy is he's the only student of knowledge that I know in Spain. I mean, I know other students of knowledge, but they are not in Spain. They are actually in Saudi Arabia and whatnot, still studying. He also still studying, but he kind of achieved some kind of studies as well. He got his license, licencia, ¿cómo se llama?
Degree, exactly.
Yeah, degrees in Islamic studies and whatnot. But obviously we always, aspiring for more. So yeah, I brought him into the channel because if you guys follow me on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow my Instagram page as well. I'm gonna put him on the platform as well. But you probably, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys seen that these last 2 weeks I was only talking about this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which was recommended to me by multiple people that I look up to, and I was kind of procrastinating on reading it, not because I wanted to, but because I just moved to Spain. Well, I just moved to Spain like 2 months ago, and the time that I actually settled down and kind of got into my routine and actually figure out what was my routine gonna be like, I decided to read this book, and I can say that I would say that it's not the first book that I read out of the Islamic studies, field, but it was the first book that I read with the intention of getting better in my businesses. And literally, I would say that it's not gonna be the last book that I'm gonna read, but I feel like it's enough. Like, this book within itself is enough for me to know already how to get where I want to get. So which is become a millionaire before 30. And if it sounds big, you guys, if you read the book, you guys understand like why my mindset is so set like this right now. And if you guys if people think that you're crazy about that, then you doing the right thing. So obviously, to an extent, don't take that too general. But yeah, what we're going to do right now, we both read the book and listened to the audio book. So what we did, obviously he took his notes. As you know, this book as well, it's not a book that you just read over and you just go over and kind of read it like that. It's a book that you actually have to listen to, rewind it, take screenshots, whatever you do, highlight, write notes, is that type of book. And it gives you instructions that you need to take in your life for it to work for yourself. Because like I said, it's not a book that you just read and it's stories and whatnot. It's actually instructions. It talks about your mind, your subconscious mind, your how to talk to yourself, how to treat yourself and whatnot, which we're gonna go over right now. So what we're going to do is I'm gonna open the session. I'm gonna take the main things that I benefit from. So I give you guys some kind of motivation for you guys to go ahead and read it by yourself. And I will throw a benefit, and then I will stop, and then he will throw a benefit, and then I will stop, and we're just gonna go ahead and do it like this, okay? So if you want to say something before I start.
Well, first of all, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you all, and with the messenger of God. Actually, I don't want to repeat what he said, but it's true. We share a lot of things. We have the same background. My father's from Gambia. His father's from Senegal. So that by itself puts us in like a very similar background in the sense of that we have the same culture. Many of the practices that he inherited from his father, I inherited from my father as well, even though they are from like different ethnicities. In Africa, we have a lot of ethnicities. So I'm from the Mandinka ethnic background, and he's from the Wolof ethnic background. But his background, I would say the Wolof group is actually also present in Gambia, and the Mandinka group is very present in Senegal. So we more or less we share a lot of things from the culture of our fathers and then the culture of our mothers, because actually our mothers are also Spanish, both of them. So we share a lot of things, and we were raised here. We were asking ourselves the same questions. We have like very similar goals. We both decided to become students of knowledge. We began practicing Islam while being teenagers, and that sets us apart from most of the teenagers in the society. But we both have an amazing love for Islam and for ilm, for studying Islam and for traveling and for getting to know a lot, everything we can possibly know about the deen. We're just hungry for that knowledge. So I really feel myself identify with this brother. And every time we talk, it's like we share everything. We share a lot of ideas. We share a lot of, it's just amazing. I have to say that. Then I just wanted to add one thing. I'm actually pretty much into audiobooks because I don't have time to read. The children, the studies, the work. You don't have time to read. So I've been in the audiobook business for a while. The last audiobook I just heard before this one was called Astrophysics for Simple People, or Astrophysics for Everyone, something like that, by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And that was an amazing book. I have to say, I just got like I just understood like 50% of the book, but that 50% really, it mesmerizes me because it talks about the universe and the creation of God. And I really read all of these audiobooks that I'm able to read because I believe they all enhance or they beautify the way you live Islam, because the more you know about life and the universe, you know more about Islam. So one of the things, people may be asking themselves, why would they have to share a review about a book which is not related to Islam? Well, any ilm, any knowledge which is beneficial in some way or another, it's related to Islam. Okay, so that's one of the things we want to share with the people. Be open-minded, because that's one of the main qualities you need for success. And I don't think I need to say anything else. This book, Think and Grow Rich, people ask themselves this question: why would a student of knowledge like him or me read such books? Well, actually, getting rich is much more than getting economically rich. Actually, people, as the Prophet ﷺ said, the real richness is inside. Okay, so Islam is like a full program of life that teaches you to try to succeed in this life and the next life. So, for example, the Prophet ﷺ told us that the best charity is the charity that you give to your wife or to your children, to your family. So we believe, and that's another thing we have in common, we believe that as Muslim men, or as Muslims in general, we have an obligation to try to get the rizq, to try to get the sustenance from God, and that in itself is part of being grateful to God. And of course, I personally have a project. I have created like a website where, with the help of some brother, I try to give some knowledge to the people, and then collect some money so we are able to create like new series of videos and audios, and promote is like a moderate and rational way of seeing Islam and spiritual way of seeing Islam in the West, because in the Spanish language we have like very few resources, so we actually need money for that. So I really believed that to pay Islamic studies for myself, for other brothers, we actually need as Muslims, we need to become entrepreneurs, and we need to try to do things by ourselves. This gives us respect in this life, because we are able to help the community, able to help our families, able to do amazing projects in Islam, and we share a lot of projects in Islam in the Spanish language. And without further ado, I believe you should begin.
Yeah. Something that I wanted to say as well is that this book, we're going to be mixing. I know in my previous videos, I don't really mix too much the Islamic values and just the Islamic values with the entrepreneurship values or teachings or ways of going about with entrepreneurship. But this book, we are going to be mixing a lot, and hopefully we're going to be summarizing, because I see already that we already took like 70 minutes for the intro, or 12, I can't even see. But most of the teachings taught in this book, like you can actually find a hadith or a ayah that directly or indirectly teaches you what you can learn from this book, basically. So sometimes it's kind of amazing that that you see, non-Muslims actually teach you or tell you that if you want to achieve or accumulate riches, accumulate money in this life, you have to follow this and this and this and this in your life, which is actually something that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us 1400 years ago. So the first point, the first benefit that I want to share with you guys today, and I'm gonna start getting a little bit comfortable because I think this is going to be long. But the first benefit that I want to share with you from my notes is any person can achieve greatness if they understand the philosophy of success and the steps to achieve it. So if you guys attended one of my webinars before, you guys and most of the people, they actually come to the webinar and they expected me to start from the very beginning. This is how you make money. This is how you make money. This is how you make money. Follow this step, do this, target these people, target this audience. But the reality is that all of these practical, technical things in the business is pretty much the 30% of it. Like a real entrepreneur is not even someone who has the knowledge of doing everything on the business. Like I know people who runs businesses or web design businesses, web design agencies. They don't even know nothing about web design agencies, but his mindset is way more stronger than the actual workers that work in there. And sometimes you need someone with that kind of mindset who is able to systemize the whole business for it to work. Because it's not just about knowing a skill. You actually need to know how to go ahead and leverage and use this skill. So how do I kind of mix this with Islam is that if any person can achieve greatness if they understand the philosophy of success and the steps to achieve it. So I would take this as al-qawlu or al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal. The knowledge is before actually taking action or speaking about it. So it's the same kind of thing. Like it's not as simple as I get a lot of messages on Instagram. Oh brother, how do I go about and make money? It's not as simple as that. I've been into entrepreneurship since 16 years old. It's not. I have tried a lot of businesses that if I actually read this book at that time, I would have probably been already, having way more money than what I have right now. So yeah, that's my first benefit. I'm not gonna go too much into it. The point of this is just to give you guys, a little bit of a taste, so you guys actually go into the book and read it yourself. So I'm gonna pass the mic to the brother.
Well, actually, he just spoke about the mindset. The mindset is everything, okay? And I have to tell you something. Like, I would say that a few years ago, I prepared a dars, a lecture on success. Those of you who understand Spanish, you can find it on YouTube. It's called La Clave del Éxito, the key to success. And I'm just mesmerized and amazed at how non-Muslims, when they do some research into maybe thousands or hundreds of people and how they got to success, whatever they want to, however they want to define success, because of course we can have like differences in the definition, but all the qualities they find in the people that are the ones that get the furthest, actually these are the qualities that as a Muslim you need to have. And the first of those qualities is the mindset. The mindset, I would say, and I think some researchers say things like that, it's like 70 or 80% of what you need. So it's just amazing to see that when a person believes he can do or she can do something, he will, most of the cases, he will actually or she will actually do it. Why? Because the fact that his or her mind is programmed with that belief subconsciously leads the person to do the actions that relate to that belief. So in practical terms, they do the actions and they end up wherever they want it to end. However, you'll see that people who usually try to say, "Oh, I have bad luck. I cannot do it. I will never get to that." They actually never get to that. Why? Because they themselves are limiting themselves. So the main problem or the main virtue is in the mindset. The mindset is the number one thing, okay? Whatever your intention is, whatever your goal is. Like, for example, my goal is to pay Islamic studies to Spanish-speaking people, starting by myself and other people, and try to do amazing things for Islam. But you may have different goals, and actually all of us have a similar goal. We have families, we want to provide for them, we want to enhance our lives. So whatever your goal is, the first thing you need to change is your mindset, okay? And that's amazing because it's like when you see in some of those verses from the Quran that deal with even battles or even daily issues, it teaches people to have a very specific mindset in which they trust, okay? It's based on tawakkul. It's based on it is possible if we want. And you'll find that Muslims, like for example in the Battle of Badr, they were like 300 and they just destroyed the other group, okay, the Qurayshis, and they were 1,000. So they were, I would say, thrice the same, but they were destroyed by the Muslims. Why? Mainly because of the mindset, okay? So in this case, as Muslims, our mindset is positive, but it's positive because we believe that the one who has everything under his control, every atom under his control, he is capable of giving us whatever we want if we do what we have to do. Once you know this reality, as Muslims, of course, we have an aqidah. And it's amazing that the guy who wrote this book, Napoleon Hill, he does not explicitly talk about God. But he talks about what he calls how does he say that? Like the infinite intelligence. That's what he says, okay? And the way he explains that is that everything is unified, okay? So I believe it's actually some way of trying to explain Tawheed without mentioning the Creator. But it is a fact that everything is unified under one power. And once you trust that that power is capable of everything, just as we say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, there is no movement and no energy except through God. Once you realize this in your mindset, not only in your words, then you start acting with full tawakkul. So tawakkul is not a phrase, it is a mindset, okay? Tawakkul is not a phrase, it is a mindset. So mindset is the number one thing. So it's just amazing that you mention it.
No. So the second thing that I want to mention, guys, from the book is actually just reading like this. To the edition that I actually read. So it says, a man who cannot take a decision promptly once he have all the necessary facts cannot be dependent upon to carry through any decision he may make. I take this as, if I show you something, if I show you a business idea, if I show you a idea to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life, and I show you exactly how we are going to get this, and you still sit down and think about the negative things. No, it might not work because too much competition. People already doing it. I don't think I'm ready to do it. I don't really understand what you're talking. I mean, that would be that could be a reason if you don't understand. But once you understand and you have all the necessary facts to go ahead and take this decision, if you in general don't take decisions, once you have all of these facts, most of the time you are not even ready to, or once you start a plan or a idea, most of the times you don't even follow with that idea and just keep trying things and not being persistent in that thing and just failing in everything basically, or just being a jack of all trades, like they say, and just trying everything out, which is something that happened to me actually with a lot of things. And you finish by not doing anything, basically.
Wow, so many things to say. I just wanted to share with you a phrase from the Quran. A lot of people say that, I don't find what I can do, okay? I don't know what I can do. I don't know how to do anything. There's an amazing phrase in the Quran. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah, and it's related with the change of the Qibla. Like the Muslims were praying to Jerusalem, and God tells them now, those who truly follow the Messenger, Muhammad ﷺ, now you should change your direction because some Jews were playing tricks, okay? So that's a new community is born, and now it's going to differentiate completely the ones who follow the Messenger and the ones who do not do it. And this verse says, وَلِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا. Each one has a direction toward which he moves or she moves, or every community. And actually, I was amazed at reading some of the commentaries of the Quran. Some of the commentators of the Quran, they say that this is actually a Quranic phrase that indicates that every nation and every individual have something like some goal in life or something specific that they are able to do, okay? So each one has a different capability. That's like the message behind it. And then God says, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. Therefore, go and rush to do those things which are good, okay? So this is an amazing phrase from the Quran. Now, what I really wanted to share with you is a hadith from the Messenger, alayhi salatu wassalam. He said that al-mu'min al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. The strong believer is better and is more beloved to God than the weak believer. Now, some scholars say that strong means physical. Others say that strong means strong in iman, in conviction. And other scholars say that it's both, okay? وَفِي كُلٍّ خَيْرٍ. Then the Prophet says, but you'll find good in both of them. And then what the Prophet said is amazing. He said, احرص على ما ينفعك. Rush to that thing that will benefit you. If you have an idea that is beneficial, just rush to it. Don't procrastinate, okay? Why? Because you trust in God. You have this mindset. You just go and do it, okay? So that's what the Messenger said. وَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. And seek help with God. The amazing thing about the verb, the concept of isti'ana, is that you don't sit down and say, God help me. It's like I want to paint the walls of my house. I will tell him, come home and let's paint the house. If I tell him, help me, it means that I will do it also. But I need him to help me. So when the Prophet says, Sta'in billah, what does it mean? That you should do your effort and at the same time trust. Okay? If you don't trust, you won't be able. But if you don't do the effort, you won't be able either. So it's a mindset and it's the action. It's the mindset and it's the action. Okay? It's the mindset and it's the action. And that's what you need to get. What you need to take with you when this video is over. And then the Prophet said, وَلَا تَعْجِزْ. Don't feel overwhelmed. Okay? And one of the amazing things I got from this book, which is amazing, the reflections that this guy brings up, the Napoleon Hill, is that you should be trained to know that failures are actually like practice shots, okay? So whenever you had a failure, that's actually just okay. Now I learned that this thing does not work. ولا تعجز, but don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel that this is over. Okay, this is just a step to success. Now you learn what you don't have to do, and that's part of the learning. Okay, you need to go through that learning. And one of the amazing things that you find in this book is that it explains the case of a lot of people that got to success right after a moment of crisis. Many times success comes right after a moment of crisis. So that's something that you should keep in mind in every moment of crisis. And just as God says in the Quran, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, right with difficulty, there is ease. Okay? So whenever you see difficulty, you need to know that there is ease behind it. But you need to be open to that ease. Again, it's the mindset. Okay? And I just want to share one more thing, okay? People have this idea that as a Muslim, you should be preparing the akhirah and just the akhirah and just the akhirah. But one of the amazing things about Islam is that it creates a completely different mindset. I mean, you may choose to be a zahid and get away from this world. That's perfect. I mean, there is room for everyone because Islam recognizes different personalities. But I would say that people do aspire for a moderation. Like God says, God tells us or teaches us to pray in the Quran, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً. Oh Lord, give us what is good in this life, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً, and in the next life what is good. So I don't think you should limit yourself to this world or the other world. I believe this is one of the false dilemmas that human beings invent when they don't have guidance, and we do have guidance. We know how to balance these things. And one of the most amazing du'as from the Prophet ﷺ is Allahumma inni as'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyah. Oh God, I ask you for forgiveness and for good health, wal-mu'afat ad-da'ima. And I also ask you for I would say welfare, complete welfare, fi dini wa dunyaya, in my religion and in my worldly life, wa ahli wa mali, and in my money and in my family. So you don't need to divide those things, okay? Have a clear mindset. If you want to succeed in life, there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, the Quran and the Sunnah do teach us how to look for success. So just let me highlight the issue or go over again and again the issue of mindset, because this is actually the basis. Okay, and then we'll talk about how to develop that mindset.
Yeah, okay. Another thing is, it was mentioned in the book, if it was correctly taught, it would revolutionize the educational system, and time spent school could be reduced to less than half. And then another part that I wrote is dreams, then failures, then lessons learned, and then success. So it's pretty much what he was talking about. Like it's about being persistent. Like anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just need to be persistent and actually take failures as lessons learned, basically. And a lot of people, one of the problems is that when you jump into something, you look at the people who's been doing it for a long time, and you expect yourself quickly to be like them, and that's another era. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like this short.
Oh, that was short. There's one thing I wanted to share with you, how to develop that mindset. You know, it's one thing to intellectually understand a fact or whatever you want to do, and a very different thing is to convert it into your mindset. How do you if you have a belief, or there is a belief that you want to convert into your mindset, you know,